I wound up in N scale, which is 1/160th of the prototype, because my wife bought me an N scale tabletop train, probably 30 years ago. And when I retired from Florida A&M University in 2003, she told me point blank that she wanted me to get a hobby. And after she told me to get a hobby, I began accumulating things. Over the years, I built up a collection of passenger cars, freight cars, locomotives, buildings, people, scenic stuff to make mountains and inclines on railroads, streets, lights, all kinds of things. And so here we are, all these years later, and several $1,000s out of pocket, and finally I have a expanded model railroad layout that I really always wanted to have. Well, I chose the 50s, early 60s, because that's when I had my closest identification with passenger trains in particular. So I got familiar with the Santa Fe, of course, first and foremost, the Rock Island, Gulf Mobile in Ohio, Missouri Pacific, Katy, Frisco, and rode a lot of their passenger trains and saw a lot of their freight trains. But I think what got me most interested was we lived in a little town in northern Oklahoma that was served by Santa Fe. And so Santa Fe kind of became my railroad. The buildings, the vehicles, the industries, all that are definitely within that early 50s to early 60s time frame. Well, we have a lot of small people, N-scale people, and they are awfully small. They are, however, painted, so I don't have to do that. The problem with it is getting them glued down properly. Now, this is after going through a whole series of problems, getting them stuck to my fingers or putting them down and they're falling over. But there are a lot of people on this layout, and I got to tell you, that was my least favorite part of this, is putting the people in. The design of the layout was, I think, my favorite thing, and I diddled over that for a number of months before I finally decided to get started. I wanted on a new layout to have a double track situation and crossovers and switch outs and all that kind of stuff. So I had to design that in a way that the curves weren't too tight for some of the locomotives and cars. And so it would be fairly realistic at the same time and provide room for towns, stations, industry, buildings, and all that. And then I needed help on the electrical part of it because I'm not an electrician. And I was able to locate Matt Baranovich, a student at FSU, who is also in the Big Bend Model Railroad Club, and he volunteered to help anyone that needed help. And so he is responsible for most of the electrical, and he's helped me out in so many other ways. I have both passenger and freight trains. I like that steam engine a whole lot because it's got all the sound just right, and has driving wheels that actually operate, and it's extremely realistic for its tiny size, and I'm amazed that they were able to pack all that technology into one little locomotive. It's a sense of accomplishment, I guess, and the fun that was had in putting it all together, and the fun in watching the trains run now. I don't think any modeler can ever really say, this layout is done, it's finished. No layout is ever finished. There's always something you want to do more on the layout. Fortunately, right now, I haven't thought of anything, but I will.